Okay, after a few breaks, nourishment, I would like to start off saying Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. Call Haloim Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Roha Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Uh, Also, the elect that's already here and forthcoming. The name of this epistle is called, um, let's see, My Experience at a Hospital. Um, Very traumatic experience that I've, for those who have had um, emergency care. It's quite devastating. Even though I knew what was wrong, but I'll begin with that in another testimony why I think I ended up in the hospital. I had no use of my legs. My legs were weak, and they're somewhat still weak and stiff to the point where um, I have to stretch them out. I have to keep working on my legs, which is basically 70% of your body. So that's very important that you keep your legs tapered, conditioned, and good to go. Good for running and stepping, the normal things that we take for granted because we have them. Okay, let's start off by saying um, the hospital food. Hospital food is horrible. I was probably weighing about 265, 270 at the beginning of my illness. And by the time I got it there, I probably weighed about 212. My face has shrunken, and everything has shrunk except that my faith in the Lord, because that's one thing that I kept at me at all times is the faith in the Lord. And this is what happens when your faith gets tested. For instance, my wallet was missing. Couldn't find it. Searched the house, and then one of the uh, brothers in the D.C. camp said that the hospital has it. I said, no way. But I do remember having a tug of war with my wallet from the left hand to the right hand, where the nurse was always trying to snatch my wallet out my hand. They will always constantly take my hoodie off because once I put my hoodie on, uh, there was I could sleep better. But once I took the hoodie off, it was freezing in there. They had dropped the temperature in there where I couldn't sleep. And in the hospital, there was always constant moaning and groaning all night long, all day long. That's something I'm not used to. Now, my hospital room is located right next to the morgue, and more groaning and moaning all night long. There were young technicians outside peeping in my room basically to see if I was going to kick the bucket. That's how they figured that when they place you next to the morgue, that means it's an easy spin to the morgue and get you out of there. So when daylight came, they went, oh shit, nigga pulled through. It's not me, it's Yahweh Yahweh Shah did. And that's something that they don't know. Uh, and I hope that the ones that were taking bets, the ones that were uh, peeping in and grinning, sniggling all night long, say, yeah, he going that old man not gonna make it. Okay. Once I got wheeled into a new room, my company comes through. Now, as a congratulatory situation there, my coworkers from my job, it was a mixture of the Brotherhood from the DC camp, And one of the things that I found out, um, if you treat the nurses right, at least one of them, um, you're gonna be okay. But if you diss a nurse, they all have it in for you. Like for instance, one had climbed up on top of me and started shaking her ass in front of me, in front of my brethren, the DC camp. They was in shock. I just pulled my hand back and said, "Oh no, I can't touch that." And then when I did a query when when they all left, she's married with an 18-year-old. So if I had grabbed that or something like that, that'd have been a charge on me. So I avoided that, and this is something that I was telling the younger brothers that was there, uh, what to look out for, because although you may know the scriptures, but the devil is very tricky. He will pull up some shit that you've never seen before. Now I've seen this move before, but it was different. But I had a throwback to know that that's the same trick that has happened to me a few times, and I got almost burnt, but I got snatched away from a partner that was looking out for me. This time, my partner or partners is Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Okay, um, let's see. One of the things that I enjoyed the most while I was in the hospital is when the Rasham, the Sharams, and um officers of the DC camp showed up one by one. I screamed and hollered and cried because they came to see me. Normally on the front line, they kicking my ass. You know, do this and do that. Make sure you're not doing it. What you doing this for? This is what the front line is about, is to make you stay sharp. Now, when it's time, as you're healing, well, you know, we all cracking jokes and I'm laughing and having a good time with them. I didn't want them to leave. So it's a thing where you have to understand that there's a time and place for um, healing, uh, maybe a time for where you chop it up, and there's a time where you're on deck as a trooper. As a trooper, you're supposed to stay sharp. That means being able to pull up pages as a reader, camera, hold up sign, or whatever the Rashams or Sharms tell you what to do. Carry signs, help and transport certain things. You never know what the task is. Whatever they ask you to do, you hop to it. And one of the calling cards of me showing up at camp was that I'm always there about at least an hour and a half before camp, showing up. That's the way I was brought up. Uh, they knew that even when they surveyed, when the Sharms had surveyed the area, I was always there. So, uh, let's see. Um, Being on medication, their medication, they give you medication as a precautionary.